Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Max. What about you?
I am doing fantastic because the Colorado Buffaloes won.
But the rest of our pick, it was a bad week.
Other than that,
not a great week for the Untouchaballs.
It was ugly, Caden.
Yeah.
It was really ugly. We're gonna hop right into that, Caden. Oh, thankfully I didn't die on my way to Texas
That
Tech,
is
by the
true.
way.
Survived the snowy conditions.
Saga. Yes. So if you guys are at all interested in hearing or seeing anything about that, what should they do to our social medias, kid?
Go follow all the Untouchable social medias. Follow his Instagram. He posted a reel and stuff of his whole trip.
Yes.
So make sure to go check that out.
100%. But now, Caden, tell us about how we lost so hard this week with our picks.
Well, starting off was actually a pick that you won and I lost. Was the Texas game.
Yes.
They went in and handily just destroyed Florida. Quinn Ewers easily played his best game of the season, threw for 333, 5 tutties, no picks. The defense looked great, only gave up 17 points, which was all just in the second half and basically garbage time. So yeah, as a whole, it was a great, just complete team win by Texas, and Quinn finally looked really good.
Yeah, Caden, this is a game I was following on my way into the stadium Saturday, Texas, and actually one of the few games I was actually able to watch a lot of this past weekend, and I was not surprised at all. I was surprised you didn't want to take the 22.5 and stand by your team.
It seemed big with how Texas had been playing.
But with a bye week, I didn't trust this Florida team. I've said they're sketchy. I didn't think, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think it was going to be that much of a blowout as it was, but I did think they were going to easily cover. Yeah. And so no surprise with Texas dominating, and I think that's a confident win for them to build up some confidence and boost them moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, easy coverage. They were 35-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
It was a very easy game for the Longhorns.
100%.
From start to finish, basically. Next game, though, one we both got wrong. The Ole Miss Rebels were not only able to cover against Georgia, but beat them 28-10. Soundly defeat them.
So this is one of the games I did not get to watch. When I saw the score, Caden, I was shocked. And the first thing I think of is, man, is college football so fun this year. Yeah. It is so awesome to see the no powerhouse this year. I mean, Oregon's looking whatever. But
I don't want to call them a powerhouse.
I want to call them powerhouse, but no clear favorite, right? There's not a team just blowing
for sure, yeah.
And for Ole Miss to go in there and hold Georgia to just 10 points, highly impressive, Caden.
Yeah, Ole Miss, kept their playoff hopes really alive, especially with that win. And game starts off bad for them. Jackson Dart's ankle gets rolled up on. Next play, he throws the pick. Georgia goes down and scores a quick touchdown. They come out. They have to go to their redshirt freshman lefty quarterback. But what's he do? Drive right down the field, finding the open man, throwing the ball well, and throws it touchdown. Then Dart comes back in. They're able to just keep scoring. And Carson Beck played bad. This is now the 4th straight week where he's thrown an interception. He didn't throw a touchdown. He only threw 180 yards. A really bad day for all around on Georgia, but especially Carson Beck, who's supposed to lead that offense, lead that team. And their defense gave up 28 points. I mean, was just at the end trying to run the clock, getting up a couple field goals, but they got just handily defeated on offense and defense by this Ole Miss team.
Caden, that's a good point. People looked at Carson Beck as potentially, a top 5 pick.
Yep.
Looking, previewing this upcoming season. Yeah. And he has done nothing but tank his draft stock. And with the loss, that Miami had, I think we're going to get into
We'll get that a little bit, yep.
But a quarterback is climbing to the top of the board right now.
Yeah, Carson Beck in his last 4 games has thrown more interceptions than he did all of last season.
Yeah.
So, he's regressed from what we saw last year as his first year as a starter.
Yes.
Now, though, let's get to your CU Buffs, who went into Texas Tech, went into Lubbock, and won 41-27.
Caden, this was an electric environment in Lubbock. The Red Raider fans were rocking, ready to go. And honestly, Texas Tech looked like they had a really good game plan. Those scripted plays, that first 15 scripted plays, burned Colorado. They had a lot of great crossing concepts and really exploited that man coverage that CU loves to run. After those scripted plays were up, that Texas Tech offense fell apart. And it was a lot of what I thought would happen with Colorado's defense being able to give the offense opportunities. And special teams really struggled with field position throughout the game. That was one thing I think CU could improve upon. But, hey, a big conference win on the road with some tortilla throwing it was a good win for Colorado.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said, yeah. Texas Tech goes up 13-0 in the first quarter. And what's really big about it that is CU stopped them twice in the red zone in that quarter to hold them to only, after that opening drive touchdown, held them to 2 field goals. If even one of those is a touchdown, I'd say it's 17-0.
Yes.
It's a lot bigger deficit, especially mentally, for CU to have to come back from. But you get those back-to-back red zone stops, hold them to the field goals. Now it's a 2-touchdown game still. You just score the 2, and all of a sudden you're right back in the game. You have the lead. They're able to build on that. And when Texas Tech had a chance to maybe go down and tie the game, strip sack, touchdown, ball game over right there.
Yeah, Arden Walker with a great play. He had a phenomenal game. Mm-hmm. That defensive line, that front seven. If you want to hear more about my thoughts, check out my article on skillbosports.com.
Now, though, the night game where we were both wrong
on.
Yes,
we were.
Alabama throttled LSU 42-13. I mean, this is the first loss under Brian Kelly that they've lost a night game at home. They were previously 13-0.
Yeah.
And in these last 2 years of the Bama-Georgia game, Jalen Milroe has run for 8 rushing touchdowns.
Wow.
He ran for 4 again this past Saturday, and he broke the Bama the quarterback rushing touchdown record. He ran for 185 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Which is crazy because Coach Kelly said post-game how their game plan was to contain him.
Yeah.
And LSU was completely lost that entire game. It wasn't close from start to finish, Caden. And, shout out Skyler, good buddy of the show. He is reeling right now with those Louisiana teams. So send some thoughts for him because, boy, is it rough in the Bayou right now.
Yeah. What we'd harped on, on the prediction episode was it's going to come down to which quarterback can limit the turnovers and play better. Jalen Milroe, no turnovers. 4 rush touchdowns. Nussmeier, though, threw 2 picks once again in a big game.
Bad ones.
Kid. Yeah, momentum killers, they'd be driving or something, looking good, trying to get a score back in the game, and he'd throw a pick.
100%.
He killed any chance they had of trying to mount a comeback in that game.
Yeah, Caden, we talked about that on the pod, and he did not step up to the plate and really had an underwhelming performance.
And now their season's done. No more chance of the playoffs.
Nope.
You're done. Just go have fun the last couple weeks playing your crappy bowl game at the end of the year.
It is what it is.
Now, though, we got our night game where the BYU went into Utah, didn't get our cover, but won 22-21 to stay undefeated on the year.
Kid, the Stormin' Mormons about went down to Utah, and there was going to be turmoil in the Big 12, kid. That was about to be huge for CU, but we can't talk about this game without talking about the penalty, Caden.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was a hold.
Caden, I think the fans are completely in the wrong.
Yeah.
Complete overreaction.
That's what I said.
Definitely enough contact.
The AD was going crazy. He was like, no.
Yes, which I was really after what, when I watched that play, I was like, is it ticky-tacky?
A little bit.
Could be.
Yeah.
But there was contact. And it's not like he didn't make contact and grab.
And even after that, they were still on their own 15-yard line.
I was going to say, that was only, it was 4th down, but again, what were you doing the rest of the
field? So you still let them get down and score the game. You also didn't score a second half point. Utah's up 21-10 at half, and the final score is 22-21. You talk about all this call. You put up 0 points in the second half. You had a chance if you do a little something in the half, maybe you get out with the win because BYU would have to try for a touchdown there at the end instead of just kicking that field goal.
And now, Caden, Utah, who already playoffs hope, are basically over.
Oh, yeah, they're 4-5. They've lost 5 straight.
Now they have to go on the road into Folsom to take on a smoking hot Boulder team.
Yeah,
it's looking rough for them.
It's not going to be a good week for Utah.
No.
The one game we didn't talk about this week was the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah.
At Georgia Tech, where they were finished as a 10-point favorite. And what does Haynes King and those Yellow Jackets do? They win the game outright, 28-23. To knock Miami down and especially playoff contention too, because SMU's now leading the ACC.
Yes, they are.
And Cam Ward has now dropped far out of Heisman contention too.
Caden, not only has Cam Ward dropped out of Heisman contention, Shedeur Sanders has now propelled, I would say, as the clear number 1 quarterback in this draft class, Caden.
Yeah, it's a weak quarterback draft class, so it's not hard to say Shedeur's I'm not a big fan of Cam Ward anyways. I've said that many times on the podcast. Fair. So, Shedeur's easily, I think, the number 1 quarterback. It's a weak quarterback class in my eyes, though.
All right, you can try to diminish those players, but Now, Travis Hunter also, with CU doing as well as they have been, is continuing to keep his name in that name in the Heisman race. That's going to be something we're going to have to watch throughout the season.
Ashton Jetty, though, rushed for 209 and 3 tutties.
Yeah, and 3 tutties once again, Caden. And those Boise State Broncos pull off a close one, but they got the victory.
Yeah, going back to this team with Georgia Tech, Haynes King now
has
become a giant killer. Last year, they not only beat UNC, who was ranked highly at the time. They beat Miami also last year, who was also ranked at the time. And then this year, against the undefeated 9-0 Miami Hurricanes, they go and beat them outright 28-23. And I mean, now they're bowl eligible for the season too.
And kid, not only that, they didn't just go in and beat them. They were outcoached, man. It was outcoached. It was very clear.
It's been known Mario Cristobal isn't the greatest.
Yeah.
We all remember the game last year where he could have just kneeled it out and won the game. Instead, tried to hand off and fumbled. A couple plays later, all of a sudden gives up the walk-off touchdown.
Yeah, but no, you got to give the credit to what the Yellow Jackets tried to do. That was another game I was able to see a lot of. And I was just impressed with the schemes, the way, that offense was able to score points when they needed to, Caden, and it was a very solid win.
And yeah, especially that. They did a little two-quarterback system too.
Yeah.
Haynes King, who was a little he'd run the ball, do really well, wasn't the best throwing the ball. So when they needed it on a big throwing down, they'd bring in the backup.
Yeah.
He'd come in, find an open dude downfield, convert the third down, keep the drive alive.
Crazy, Caden. That's football for you.
Now, though, let's get into the NFL. And our starting game is not one I'm sure you really want to talk about. You got the cover. They covered the 7.5 that your Broncos did.
Of course they did, because they always cover.
But they lose 16-14 on a blocked 35-yard field goal as time expired. That won them
the Kansas City Chiefs, once again, aided by the refs the entire game. The entirety of the game, Kansas City, once again. And honestly, I didn't get to watch this game in its entirety. I've only been able to go through and watch the highlights and don't get a full understanding of the story. So I'm not going to make too much claims, Caden. However, it's a frustrating loss. Yep. Absolutely despicable that the left side gets smoked and ran over like that. That's a technique thing. That's a lineup thing. That's a fundamental football play. A field goal PAT block. Are you kidding me, Caden Carabench?
I don't know, man.
And, when I was hearing the live feed that, the Broncos are lined up kick, I'm like, when I heard that it was a 3 in front of the kick, I'm like, it's not a guarantee it's going in. And with how many times I've seen the Broncos lose in sickening ways to the Chiefs over the years, this is no surprise to me.
I mean, the defense played great, limited Kansas City to only 16 points.
As they always do.
Broncos offense comes out hot off the gate, gets the opening touchdown, then hits Cortland Sutton on that deep ball on the 3rd and 1. Bo Nix at halftime has 160 pass yards, 2 passing touchdowns. They have 14 points. They finished the game with 14 points. Bo Nix finishes the game with 215 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw the ball only for 55 yards in the second half. The offense completely stalled in that entire second half.
True, Caden. And give credit to Steve Spagnuolo because, as much as I hate to say it, he has the Broncos number. All these years, he knows how to apply pressure, and they made adjustments at the half. And like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, he don't score points in the second half.
It's not going to
don't deserve the win.
Now, a game we both got right, which it was touchy because, Jake Moody decided to miss 3 field goals that could have cost us, But, the Niners beat the Bucs 23-20. Bucs cover the 6.5. But that Bucs offense did not do much.
Okay, I mean, with how good that I wouldn't say how good, but with the stars that are on that 49ers defense and the outgunned Buccaneers that we've harped on it so much on this podcast, we don't want to get into it. But for what they were able to do, they got the cover. Is exactly what we need to do, and can't be too mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, seemed like that line was a little inflated because of the Christian McCaffrey return. Yeah, he didn't do much. It's not like you were expecting him to do much, but it seemed like the Lions were kind of expecting him to do it. And I mean, really, it was great because Baker only threw for 118 passes, so they didn't throw the ball well. It really came down to the running game where, Rashad White didn't do much, but the rookie, Bucky Irving, 73 rushing yards, led the team in carries once again. He got that in the end zone for the touchdown. Averaged 5.5 yards a carry. Like, that's what you need if you want to be able to stay close in these games without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, even Cade Otton, especially I know because I have him on my fantasy team. He had 5 for 35 in the first half, finished with 5 for 35.
Yeah, Cade, that's a very good point.
So, now next game, though, my Patriots. Hey, you thought they'd get killed by the Bears. What happens? The Patriots not only cover, win the game 19-3. The defense finally plays football.
Looked like a Patriots
Yeah,
defense.
looks like a Patriots defense. Sacked Caleb Williams 9 times, and he only throws for 120 yards. They finally bottled the run, too. DeAndre Swift only had 59 rushing yards.
Caden, on the other side, the Chicago Bears side, Caleb Williams' O-line's gotten him killed. That's the first thing that everyone noted week 1, week 2 with the Bears is Caleb Williams got flashes. We knew that.
Yep.
Needs some help. Not only that, the coaching is atrocious for Chicago.
I mean,
Play calling, abysmal. You know, I think Chicago's got a lot of good pieces, and they've been able to win some games maybe they shouldn't have. And, you know, they got off to that great start. But losing 3 straight now, Caden, it's not a good look for Chicago.
And another good thing, though, it's the first time in the Drake May era that he hasn't led the team in rushing yards.
That's a good point, Caden.
Ramondre was finally able to run the ball, had 74 rushing yards on 20 carries, so that looked good. And, I mean, on Drake's INT, where at live it looked like he just didn't see a defender. After the game, he said he was trying to throw it away, just didn't throw it away. So it's like, I mean, that's a rookie mistake. Just get up. Other than that, they were able to control the ball well, get points. And I mean, they weren't able to find the end zone well. I mean, they had the one pass touchdown. It's good to see Jalen Polk get in the end zone, try to build that confidence up after these rough, probably like last 6-7 weeks he's had. So, I mean, that's good to see. But, I mean, the offense would have had to. Joey Slye made his field goals. But really, all the credit goes to the defense for finally looking like a Patriots defense that we've expected to see.
Yeah, Caden, credit to the Patriots on ruining their draft position. And I'm glad that you guys were able to get the win.
Hey, it's okay. We'll still have a nice bottom feeder pick. Now, though, we get to our primetime games, where Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, and somehow they won the game 26-23, and we lose our cover by the hook.
Caden, we didn't even deserve to have this cover to be close.
Oh, I know.
When I was first watching this game, I was disappointed with the Detroit Lions. I was like, with the caliber of team you guys have shown on paper, to come out and lay a duck like that on the road is very disappointing. Second half comes around, Caden.
What have we been saying all this part? If you don't, the Texans, 23 first half points, 0. We've been saying this whole time. You don't score points in the second half. You don't deserve to win.
That should be the episode. That's the name of this pod. You don't score points in the second half. You don't deserve to win.
Yeah. I mean, Stroud didn't play bad. He did have the 2 interceptions, which hurt them. There were 7 interceptions.
He didn't play good, Caden.
No. But Jared Goff played bad.
It looked like one of our Madden games.
It looked like a Madden game, exactly. Just throwing it deep, getting picked off.
Throwing up punts, baby.
I mean, luckily for the Lions, they still have that good 2-headed monster in the backfield. Jahmyr Gibbs had a great game in the backfild. They were able to limit Joe Mixon really well, who had been just going off for the Texans.
He was looking really solid.
And, I mean, it was not a good performance really by either team.
And the Texans, like, when they've had these losses, Caden, it's because they choke late.
Yeah.
Like, their management, I don't know what D'Amico Ryans is doing. Like, they're just fumbling away games when they shouldn't.
Yeah, like that Packers game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Especially this game, you're up 23-7 at half. Goff comes out at half, throws more interceptions.
Yes.
And you still don't score in the second half and find a way to lose. Like, that's just not good.
Bad football on the Texans, Caden. And as horrible as the Lions played, you got to feel good about taking a dub.
Oh, yeah, you still get the dub. You're 8-1. I mean, Lions are looking – they're the top of the NFC.
Yes.
The Lions are the top of the NFC.
I agree, Caden.
Now, they'll get to our Monday night game, which, I mean, it's another close-ish one-score game.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, hey, I got this one right at least. Nice 3-7 on the week for me.
Horrible.
To a Mex 4-6 week.
Horrible. One of our worst week, probably the worst week this year we've had.
Got to be the worst week.
I think so, total.
So, but Dolphins go out, they win the game 23-15, and I mean, it was sloppy football.
It was
a lot of fumbles. There was a couple picks, 1 pick by each quarterback. Like, just wasn't great football.
Caden, that's the greatest way to describe this game. I kept waiting for one team to start putting it together, and there were flashes, but it was sloppy. Yeah. It was gross. And, you know, the Rams just couldn't get anything going. They tried to had a shot late in garbage time to go down and try to make some miracle happen. And ultimately, credit to the Dolphins because I didn't think they were going to have a chance in this game. And they got the victory.
Yeah, I mean, their defense played good, but, I mean, they won the game because Jason Sanders can make 50-plus yard field goals.
Most definitely.
Like, they couldn't run the ball at all. Achane was their leading rusher with 37 yards.
Horrible night.
2-0 threw the ball for like 207 with a tutty and a pick. Like, there wasn't, like, anything going on offensively in this game. Stafford didn't even throw for a tutty. I mean, it just wasn't much going on. Like, they scored 15 points tonight, And it was on 5 field goals. Jake Carty was 5 of 6 on field goals. The only kick he missed was like a 57-yarder.
Yeah, Caden. I mean, you got like for Los Angeles, that's a demeaning one.
Mm-hmm.
With how close that division is.
Oh, yeah.
And, with no guarantees in the NFC that, it's going to be as easy as it has been in previous years, getting a playoff spot. Sean McVay is going to have to look himself in the mirror and get his boys right.
Yeah, in that NFC West, yeah. Like you said, it's all up in the air. Yes, the Cardinals are starting to look good, but they're still right there. Like,
yeah,
there are no breakaway favorite teams. Like, it's the Cardinals, Niners, Giants, Seahawks. They're all just right there, kind of hodgepodge.
Yes, they are.
And they're not great football teams. They're not bad football teams. Just no, it's not going to be a playoff team division at all this year.
It might.
I don't see one of them being able to make
someone's got to win the division.
Exactly. It'll be that'll be the one team out of that division that makes the playoffs. Whoever can win that division with about 9 wins.
Good point, kid.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of our weekend in recap. Horrible week for the Untouchaballs.
Yep.
If you don't score in the second half,
you deserve to lose the football game.
You deserve to lose the football game. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.